I love documentaries. Personal, political, controversial, true crime. Give me all the docs, any time of the day, anywhere in the world. Especially if it's a documentary about Hindi cinema history, which unfortunately is just so very poorly documented. I'm so seated. Now, if you don't bring the goods, that's on you. Hey all, my name is Sucharita. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking about the 4-part docu-series The Roshans, directed by Shashi Ranjan, now streaming on Netflix.
75 साल पहले जो वैल्यूज को लेके आए थे रोशन साहब, वो इस फैमिली में चल रही है.
The Roshan family has been active in Hindi film industry for multiple generations. There's music, there's acting, there's direction, spanning over 60 years or so. So obviously, there is a story waiting to be told. Dynasty ki shuruaat, from Roshan Nagrath, the patriarch and music composer, to Rakesh Roshan, the director, actor, Rajesh Roshan, music composer, and ultimately Hrithik Roshan, who awakened something in my generation amongst all of us when we were teens. The family's accomplishments are significant, to put it mildly. The show opens on a nostalgic tone. You see Hrithik Roshan listening to a recently rediscovered old composition of his grandfather's. You're eavesdropping in a very personal moment that ends with him saying, "There's a very interesting story how our family name went from Nagrath to Roshan." Ye moment shayad show ke trailer mein bhi hai. Except you don't really get that story. If someone did share it in the show, I entirely missed it. The Roshans quickly then starts to present cameo after cameo. Veteran film critic and filmmaker Khalid Mohammed appears, offering general comments about how talented this family is. But you don't hear him talk about writing and directing Fiza, much before Kaho Na Pyaar Hai was even a thing. Bhansali offers no deeper insights into Guzarish. Karan Johar doesn't go into the making of K3G. You hear Hrithik Roshan's co-stars like Priyanka Chopra Jonas, Ameesha Patel and Preity Zinta talk about how fun it is to work with the Roshans and what a lovely environment it is, and how everybody, including Madhuri Dixit, just knew that he was born to be a star. But none of it is admiration or sentiment that one has not heard before countless times. So the montage of collages feels more like a feel-good, happy birthday to you home video rather than commentary worthy of a Netflix documentary throughout the series. It's frustrating because the series started on a rather promising note, the making of a young man from Gujranwala, now in Pakistan, who learnt sarod in Lucknow from Baba Alauddin Khan and moved to Mumbai to become a music composer without any idea how to do so. The story of Roshanlal Nagrath's rise to prominence and the community that enabled people like him is fascinating. It's a mixture of Punjabi and Muslim backgrounds and some Bengali, making one realize how many early founders of the Hindi film industry came from such humble means, forging legacies in the face of economic hardships and complexities of religious identity. Rafi, Roshan, Lata, Prakash, Kapoor, Chopra, Sultanpuri. So episode 1 is the gold that Bollywood history buffs crave. But the docuseries gives it only a mild exploration. There are some oddly cheesy, dramatic reenactions in there as well that don't reappear in the rest of the series at all. So this intrigue does continue to simmer when you move on and you get to learn a little bit more about Rajesh Roshan and his work. Honestly, it kind of blows my mind when you think about it that it's the same composer who made folks in drag dance to Saj Rahi Gali Meri Aaj. He made Rekha run around in glee singing Pardesiya Ye Sach Hai Piya. He won a Filmfare for Julie. And he also evolved so rapidly to create Ae Mere Dil Tu Gaye Ja for his nephew's grand launch. So many iconic songs came from this unassuming man who's very seldom celebrated the way he deserves. So the documentary does make you feel that, yeah. And also, who knew his wife was such a stunner? Kanchan Roshan appears beach mein ek do baar talking about their lives behind the scenes. But very rapidly, the focus shifts again, right as it begins to get interesting. And you're beginning to hear from her how difficult it probably was to be married into this family. This is a recurring issue with the series that is produced by the Roshans themselves. The final edit that's presented to you allows little intrigue, little conflict, or little critique. There's no dramatic tension. Halfway through, you realize the Roshans is content to remain a polite, celebratory portrait. I was seeking insights into emotional or intellectual cost of sustaining a multi-generational dynasty. Alas, there's not much to be found. Alright, so for instance, episode 3 and 4, they reference this very dramatic event in Rakesh Roshan's life that I was waiting for them to get into when he was shot at. For those in the know, The attempted assassination in the year 2000 was a major news story. He was reportedly targeted by the Mumbai underworld. Yet, the Roshans, this series, mentions it only glancingly, never explaining how that incident shaped him or impacted the family really, and who shot at him, why. This feels like it should be a pivotal moment in the docuseries, a lens into the underbelly of the Hindi film industry as it existed then, and the Roshan family's resilience, and how the industry sort of transitioned away from this phase where multiple actors and filmmakers and producers had spoken about being targeted. Instead, the documentary prioritizes very safe retrospectives over insight. For a film that claims to be an inside look at a legendary film family, the absence of elaboration or any newness, it leaves a big hole where narrative drama could be. You miss a film historian's occasional parallel commentary on how camp evolved as a genre in cinema, in huge parts thanks to filmmakers like Rakesh Roshan. I mean, look at Karan Arjun, so camp.
It's a very interesting story how our surname went from Nagrat to Roshan.
The series obviously talks about Hrithik Roshan's meteoric rise as well, but oddly, the Hrithik episode in the end is more about his father than it is about him. It never fully commits to unveiling the complexities behind this stardom, his struggles with health issues, intense training. These are already very well documented stories. For many years, this family was connected via marriage with a whole other film dynasty, the Khans. That's never mentioned. You know, old episodes of Rendezvous with Simi Garewal have more to offer, no cap. As this final segment wraps up and you see Hrithik's young sons playing Wonderwall on their guitars, it's a sentimental nod to the music that fuels this household. It's a very sweet touch, but like the song the kids are seen playing, the effect is just way too familiar. Ultimately, The Roshans is an extended tribute, breezing past anything that's weighty. A film dynasty deserves a more daring, revealing narrative. Until such a doc presents itself, you can watch this one. It's now streaming on Netflix. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, The Roshans is एक story इसमें पता चलती है that might stay with you, where that says Shah Rukh Khan and Salman Khan were kind of douchebags on the sets of Karan Arjun, which checks out. But also, before you check out, subscribe to the channel. My name is Sucharita. Thank you for stopping by. I think we're also going to be talking about Azad this week. Little delayed that review is going to be, but it's coming, so stick around.